that not civilians must take the law into their own hands and harm foreign nationals. Others are killing people to perform rituals as we approach local government elections. They think by killing foreigners, they will win elections. When Dr. Xolani was found to be involved in digital vibe scandal, you did not have the courage to remove him. Today, Xolani is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Wansenzo Mkhunu was exposed last year for having formed part of the infiltration of the South African Police Service and disbanding of the political killings team PKTT on New Year's Eve. You did not remove him. As long as the EFF is still alive and in this parliament, Pala will never die. You asked us to send you to Mamina, and we made a mistake, we send you. And as your term of office come to an end, you have nothing to show for it. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the NCOP, President of the Republic of South Africa, the people of South Africa. Mr. President, we warned you 8 years ago that the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts will neutralize you, and your legacy will be that you auctioned our country and its strategic asset to the highest bidder. You did not heed our warning. You have auctioned our sovereignty to asset management companies such as BlackRock, which is why you have praised for the growth of the JSE. You auctioned our country by selling our ports, our railway, our energy generation capacity to the private sector. And now you want to do same with water. You do not take responsibility for creating jobs. You do not take responsibility for fighting crime. You do not take responsibility for infrastructure development, and you do not take responsibility for growing our economy. There is no sign of any infrastructure of a bullet train, that there are no design plans of a smart city, and there is not even a curriculum for an institution of higher learning in Ikuruleni as you have promised. You asked us to send you to Mamina, and we made a mistake, we send you. And as your term of office come to an end, you have nothing to show for it. Under your term, crime is out of control, and your deployment of the army is the last resort. You are admitting that you have failed to fight crime. The people of Gauteng have been terrorized for too long by the so-called Zamazamas, and on the deployment of the army, we have no choice but to support you because you have destroyed law enforcement capacity. Our concern is that how do you deploy a military which have been crippled by austerity measures to fight crime? Because we know that our military is understrained and under-resourced and has been humiliated in war zones abroad. And how do you intend to ensure they can fight crime domestically? Additionally, we have warned you before that the army is combat trained and is not trained to enforce laws on civilians. The scale of crime in our country cannot be dealt with by the army alone, because crime is a national crisis and a social crisis. If you do not resolve the challenges of unemployment, the challenge of alcohol and substance abuse, and the high dropout rates of the youth from schools, then crime will be a permanent feature in our society. Crime in South Africa is organized through drug syndicate, protection fee rings, sex trafficking rings, and gangs. It has infiltrated all forms of government, and putting guns in the streets alone will not resolve this crisis. Mr. President, the rot in our criminal justice system begins with your political party, which has factionalized law enforcement and intelligence on the basis of who emerges in your conferences. The biggest syndicate is the political party you are leading, Mr. President. Mr. President, subjectively, this government has done nothing to grow this economy or to strengthen our currency. let us take this opportunity to remind you of your own commitments. Last year on this same platform, you committed to grow the economy by 3% through infrastructure investment, structural reforms, and inclusive growth and employment. You no longer speak of this figure, and National Treasury itself predicts economic growth at 1.5% and will most likely reverse this projection down as the year progresses because that is their tradition. You speak of the achievement of a budget surplus as a positive economic indicator, but it is more of an indication that you are implementing austerity and spending less on saving the needs of the country. Why will you be proud of a budget surplus in a country with massive unemployment, collapsing municipal infrastructure, and poverty, which is leading the death of children in the Eastern Cape? You're proud when it comes to EPWP jobs is something you should be ashamed of and not mention at this level of governance. Those are temporary jobs which are used to secure income for volunteers of your political party. It is slaves jobs with no security because you cannot secure a car or a home with an EPWP job. Mr. President, the electricity crisis in South Africa is far from over. The mistake you are making on declaring an end to the electricity crisis is the same mistake you have made with the water crisis for decades in this country. Now that the people of Sanders no longer experience electricity outage, you no longer view it as a crisis, forgetting the people of Soweto, Mdantsane, Seshego, and Ditsobot. You have given load shedding a new name, and that new name is load reduction. On top of that, you have lost control of the pricing regime of electricity, and NERSA is pronouncing an increase in the cost of electricity every few months. Your municipalities do not have an idea of the infrastructure they are seized with governing. It does not matter how many billions of rands you give them to revive water infrastructure. The fact of the matter is your minister and your mayors do not have the town planning, do not know the town planning of where water infrastructure begins and where it ends. This is why they respond to burst pipes and leakages as they happen and run after one pipe to the other. In Ekurhuleni, we have an MMC of water of the EFF, Thembi Msani, and sanitation, who is managing a water infrastructure there and has been declared as a water champion. When your minister was running around complaining about water, our MMC of water in Ekurhuleni was given an award the same week and declared a water champion. Instead of benchmarking from the DA, which struggles to provide clean water to people of the city in this township, go and benchmark from the EFF department there in Ekurhuleni on how to fix the water crisis. Mr. President, you will not fix our municipalities if you do not revise the backward and outdated equitable share model, which allocates more funding to the national and provincial spheres of government while giving the least allocation to local government. The idea that all municipalities can be self-reliant on revenue generation when you know you preside over a country that is massively deindustrializing and is suffering massive unemployment is misguided. We need to focus on strengthening municipal capacity, but in addition to that, focus on recovering revenue from major industries which consume electricity and water in bulk. These companies must be given incentives on rate paying, which will compel these industries to invest in developing municipal infrastructure such as roads, water, electricity, clinics, and schools. Mr. President, we want to say to you, we fully support you on your posture when it comes to international relations. Your support for Palestine, the people of Western Sahara, South Sudan, and the people of Cuba. We agree with you that Africa must begin to negotiate its trade relations as a bloc and with unity, and that no nation must ever again think it has got the right to bully us and impose on us who our friends must be and who our enemies must be. We agree with you that not civilians must take the law into their own hands and harm foreign nationals. And you must tell those in your cabinet and who support you that they must not campaign using violation of the human rights and murder of foreign nationals. They claim you agree with them. You must continue to denounce them, Mr. President. Others are killing people to perform rituals as we approach local government elections. They think by killing foreigners, they will win elections. They must ask their friends who came here with the name of killing foreigners. They did not win elections. Xenophobia will never win them elections. And some of them are found in your cabinet. You must remind them as you meet them on the corridors. Just say to them, xenophobia will not make you a president. I might have made you a minister. We call on you to exhibit your courage by closing the Israeli embassy, which is a resolution of this National Assembly. You have declared their representative as a persona non grata, and the skies did not fall. Close their embassy and cut relations with this genocidal nation. The USA has sent a rampant racist as its diplomat in this country, and we must exercise our right to refuse cooperation with the individual whose sole intention is to dictate to us what our foreign policy must be. Mr. President, your Pala scandal has rendered you ineffective in dealing with corruption and incompetence in your party and in your cabinet. When Dr. Julius Malema was found to be involved in digital vibe scandal, you did not have the courage to remove him. He resigned. Today, Julius Malema is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. When Honorable David Matrobo was identified as being a key part of the corruption in the State Security Agency by the Zondo Commission, you did not remove him. Instead, he's the Deputy Minister of Water and Sanitation. When Senzo Mkhunu was exposed last year for having formed part of the infiltration of the South African Police Service and disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team, PKTT, on New Year's Eve, you did not remove him. You have retained Senzo Mkhunu at the taxpayer's expense and called him your political burden to bear. Today, the people of this country do not have water. Instead of consequence management against Honorable Pemnima Judina, who does not have a clue what she's doing, you create another task team for water which is chaired by you because you do not have the courage to remove her. If you have the courage to remove her now so that you demonstrate that you've got the courage. You've got the premier. Your premier tells us he is inconvenienced and his solution is an elite. Is to take a shower at hotels, while your citizens do not have that luxury of going to take a shower at the hotel. You did not reprimand him and demanded that he apologize unreservedly to the people of South Africa. When you assumed office, you claimed it will be a transparent presidency, then proceeded to seal CR17 documents of your own funding for your own presidential campaign, and then also your political party majority in parliament to block the investigation on Pala. Where is the transparency you are talking about? You said you are going to be an honest man who's going to be an open book, that your door will remain open. And today, your door will remain closed. You even put butler doors to make sure no one accesses you and the documents that are attributed to corruption. Let me reassure you, Mr. President, as long as the EFF is still alive and in this parliament, Pala will never die. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Malema.